So when it comes down to questions that we get all the time, many times are related to things like suspension. And you may say, well, what does that have to do with wheels? The answer is nothing. However, there are some questions that have some overlap, and we're going to try to get to those right now. What's going on? I'm Scott from KONIG, and before we get in this video, do the whole like thing. Just go subscribe and then I'll stop bothering you. So one of the questions that we get the most about suspension and wheels has to do with if you lower your car, does that impact your decision for the wheels? And the answer to this is a little difficult to give you a straightforward one on, but let's go like this. If you're using the right diameter, offset, and width of the wheel, and you're using the correct tire size, most aftermarket suspension companies are going to make replacement products that will allow you to have no issues, no rubbing, or anything like that. If you go super low or do something super custom, if you're using a wheel width that's really wide, an offset that's really low, or a tire size that's just flat out wrong for the car, there's a chance that you're going to have rubbing issues there. So just try to remember what space you're in, and if there's something else that you think is outside the norm, ask some questions before you make your purchase. Another question that we get asked is, if I want to run a wider wheel, can I just add some more negative camber? This is a tough question because I guess in theory a lot of people do it and it could help you to fit a larger wheel that's not really supposed to fit on the car. But I think that's the key, right? It's not supposed to fit on the car. You're massaging it to work. Adding negative camber or adjusting your suspension points to try to fit a wheel that doesn't necessarily fit on its own, I would say from us the answer is no, don't do it. Anytime you're going to modify suspension points or modify steering geometry or anything along those lines just to fit a bigger wheel, I think you lose functionality, and that's just a bad look. But there's plenty of people out there doing it. I'm not trying to pass judgment on you. I'm just trying to tell you that you could cause yourself some other issues. So another question that we get a lot has to do with, do I need a wheel alignment after I get wheels and tires? And the answer to this, for the most part, is going to be no. If you're not changing any suspension points, lowering your car's height, if you're not doing any negative camber, if you're not making any suspension adjustments at the time that you're getting your wheels and tires and you feel that your alignment is good, nope, you're good. Put the wheels and tires on the car and off you go. However, it is good practice when you get new tires to get an alignment. It keeps everything in check and make sure if you've had any impacts or bumps along the way that you can get them all in line and you can preserve the tires for a really long time, right? That's what you're trying to do, save a little bread in that pocket. So question number 4, some people ask, if I just go with a higher offset, can I run a wider wheel? This is a really tough question to answer. Every car is going to be completely different. Every wheel and tire package is going to change the variable there. So you really do have to ask specific questions, but remember that your inboard clearance, where the strut is going to be a pretty fixed point. So at some point, every wheel and tire package, no matter how you move it in or out, is going to have a crash point, and you really need to think of this. It's not as easy as just thinking about the outbound side. You know, people are always thinking about where the wheel sits on the car, but there's a lot that happens in between. Does that wheel, if you move it inboard, clear a brake? Does it crash on the suspension? So ask specific questions in this case. There's not a one-size answer that fits all here. And we've done a wheel offset video on our YouTube channel that kind of explains this. It talks about how the wheel moves in and out and what kind of impacts come along with each move. So check that out and see if that helps you out. So rounding out our FAQ about suspension questions relating to wheels, a lot of the times people will say that they want to get wheels and tires and they plan to lower their vehicle, and they want to know if it's better to go with springs, coilovers, or maybe an air setup. And the truth is, this really has nothing to do with us. This is completely your opinion. I would say that it's important that you research the manufacturer, make sure that you're buying quality components. I also think it's important that you understand that it's more related to the actual ride height that things are going to start to get a little wonky. So make sure that you're lowering the vehicle within an approved amount. If you're not sure what this is, do some homework on it. But as far as the, how do the wheels affect bags or springs or coilovers, look, it really is more about the height, and then there's the other personal preference that come along with it. That's really up to you. So we hope that some of these questions helped. If we didn't answer some of the questions you may have, throw them down below. We'll be happy to get them. We will catch you on the next one.